let's talk about binding. Okay, so binding in yoga. Okay. So there are some times wherein your teacher will ask you, take this option or this, and then to go deeper, or if you want, you can bind, right? So you can either bind your legs or bind your arms, right? So one way of binding is for the legs, when you're coming into chair pose, right? And I can't even demonstrate properly because of my personal limitations. But when some people, what they do is instead of just doing a cross sit like a regular, chair pose and you cross your legs, you can hook this left foot behind that right calf, right, without compensating with your hips, and then you can sit, and then that's a bind, and then do that on the other side. So that's binding your legs. Now, why I wanted to show you that and why I want to talk about this and prepare a video is because, a lot of people think that if you cannot bind in yoga, then you're a failure. Or, it makes them feel bad that, okay, oh, that's what my body is supposed to do and I can't do that, right? So some people, when you're coming into a bind for the arms, right, this is what they can do, right? And this is, I tell them to hug themselves really tightly, or you can come into a single bind, hands back to back, or you can come into a double bind with the palms together, and then lift up and push the hands away, right? Now for some people, this, even just doing this, can be very painful on the shoulders. And if not pain, there's just, it's not happening, right? So forcing your body to come into something like this when one is your body's not ready to do so, or when it's super duper painful, is just really harming yourself. It's not practicing ahimsa, right? And we've talked about ahimsa, which is the act of really practicing non-harming, physically, emotionally, and mentally, not doing any violence to yourself. So that's why in my classes, I like to give options, because you can stay here, right? And that's already training your body to, to prepare itself, training the shoulders to prepare itself for the next level, so that when you consistently practice this and then one day you try it out, no, I'm not there yet, but if you move into closer, oh, okay, that works now, there's no pain, and then here. But then again, binding isn't the end goal of the pose. Not being able to bind isn't the end goal. Now that being said, right, if you want to work on it and not just because you feel that, yeah, I can move into that pose because I'm not feeling any pain, I just feel that I need to just train my body and it'll work, that's fine, right? So I'm going to give you options for binds. Okay, so one is, well, when we talk about binds, it takes a really heavy toll on your shoulders. So your shoulders, right? So you can go front, up, down to the side, right? And you can go to the back. So those are the range of motions of your shoulders. It's a ball and socket joint, so it can move around a lot. That being said, that joint also has a lot of muscles, has a lot of fascia around it, and depends on the rest of your body. In the other video we talked about how one tightness or one tension in another part of the body can affect your shoulders. And also I mentioned that people who normally have like lower back issues or tightness will most likely also have shoulder issues or tightness, and vice versa, right? So one way to check your shoulder mobility is, I'm gonna flip so you can see, is bringing your arms out to the side and bending one, and then flipping the other, right? And this is already kind of extreme for your shoulders, and you will see that I have some shoulder mobility issues as well. I have an impingement on my shoulders. So for some people, they're not even able to reach this far. Some people can bind, right? And what can allow that is the mobility of your shoulders. And if you look at it this way, this is my max on the other side. We already talked about, the tightness, like how one part of the body can be tighter than the other, and that's completely normal. And this is a great example of that. So you see what was available to me on my other side, and this is what is available on this side. So now if you're doing this and you're practicing, right? And I always say that, practice as deep as your other side. So what you can do to help you is use props. So use any belt, right? Any belt, doesn't have to be a leather belt. If you don't have a belt available, you can get like a hand towel and then roll it up so that it's long and bunched up. So I'm going to use a belt for this, right? So I'm going to measure that and just hold on to the ends and just hang it there. And then breathe at least 5 long deep breaths, right? So if I'm going to try and balance it out on the other side, what I will do is hold it, same way, just reversing. But in this time, if I want to balance out the stretch, I will have to walk a little closer, walk, 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 walk. So see here now, for me, I'm already feeling some pain. This right shoulder here, okay? And that pain is really limiting my movement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stay here. I know I'm not on the other side yet, but this is where I am right now. So I'm going to breathe longer here, more than 5 breaths, right? And I'm going to keep walking my fingers towards each other with every exhale, right? So that's what you do just to balance things out, and that's what you do if you want to use a prop too. And just coming out of that, just really okay. Got a lot of tightness in my tension in my right shoulder. Okay. Now I started off with that because I wanted to explore how much you have, how much range of motion you have in your shoulders before you start to come into bind, because I have some students who have injured themselves because without being aware of the range of motion of their shoulders and just pushing and say, yeah, I can do that, no, it's okay, right? And even asking their teacher to assist them to push them further, right? And it leads to injury, right? So it really leads to your body getting injured. Nobody knows your body than you do. So if someone assists you and sees you and pushes you and say, no, you can do it, some more, I'm going to push you, okay? Know when to say stop, know when to say push back, right? So, and that's why it's great to be able to use props, because props help act as an extension of your body, of your arms, of your limbs, and you yourself are able to gauge how far you can go. So one other bind is, I'm sure this is one of my favorite binds, because when I was starting out in the Ashtanga practice in 2007, this is one of the things we did, and I was like, I can't do that, but it looks so cool. Okay? So I'm gonna place my left heel, my right butt cheek, making sure my butt cheeks are down on the ground, and then step my right foot down on the mat, okay? I'm gonna reach out my right arm, and this pose really entails binding, which is why I'm showing you this. So encircle that, reach far forward as you can, and then bend your arm right behind your right elbow, and with your left arm reaching back, and you grip your fingers together and you bind, right? And for some people, they can go lower, and for me, this is where I can go, but for some, they can bring their elbows lower here on the ground. Yeah? So this is a traditional Ashtanga Vinyasa pose, right? And it really requires binding. So what you can do, if you can't reach behind you, is place the strap or the belt on the right side, wherever you're going to bind, close to where you're going to bind, reach forward, reach back. And again, the slower you can move, the better. Remember we talked about how injuries happen when you are entering and leaving a pose. So strap, before you reach out, have that strap ready or have that belt ready. Okay? And then you reach back and then you use the strap, there. And then you walk your fingers closer together. And breathe. Long and deep breaths. Okay? So I think I am tighter on my other side, so let's see how that goes. Yeah. So strap here. Reaching forward. And flipping back. Okay. A little bit tricky with this belt, it's kind of stiff and hard. But what's nice is that you can swing the other end of the belt. Yep, this is really nice. I'm struggling with my demo. Okay. And flip it back. Maybe I should, there. That would be better. Hold it with the other hand. And now you're in a bind. And look forward and grip and bind. And yep, I'm tighter on this side. So you notice the distance that my hands have on the other side. They're more further apart. So again, if this is your tighter side and you're practicing here, walk your fingers closer together with each exhale and take longer than 5 breaths, because this is what the side that you need to train a lot more. Yeah. And gently, 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 gently release. Okay. So that being said, in yoga, or in my classes at least, don't force yourself, right? So these binds, the legs and the arms and the shoulders especially, they're a heavy toll on the shoulders. And work through it. Practice ahimsa, practice self-awareness. Don't push yourself to the point that you're going to injure yourself. Don't push the point to the, don't follow the ego and say that, yeah, I can do it because, I want to look cool for my Instagram. Right? Not worth it. And with practice, comes progress and comes self-awareness. And with slowness comes self-awareness. So practice safely and have fun. Thanks for watching.